Am I the asshole for telling my son I'd rather have his ex-wife as a daughter than him as my son after he got cut out of the will? 16 years ago, my son Matthew had a daughter with his now ex-wife Josie. I've always thought of Josie as my own daughter, so when they divorced 7 years ago due to my son cheating, I was conflicted and disappointed. Josie wasn't particularly close with any of her family, so my husband and I naturally took them in. Josie was an angel. She had insisted that we didn't have to lift a finger more than before we had taken them in, and though she was hurt, she kept civil around Matthew. My husband and I had a huge hand in raising their daughter Ruth, because Matthew remarried less than a year later and now has a 4-year-old son after disowning Ruth. 2 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was hard on everyone, especially Ruth. They were extremely close. She told him about her girlfriends and boyfriends before anyone else, and has always wanted him to be the one to walk her down the aisle at her wedding. Matt rarely ever visited and didn't answer our calls often, saying that we had other kids, so it wasn't like my husband was dying lonely. Last night, Matt stopped by to talk about inheritance. He never mentioned Josie nor Ruth and hinted that he thought he should get more inheritance than his siblings the entire time. My husband and I shared awkward looks until he decided to cut in. He explained that everyone would get a piece, but he'd focused more on Ruth and Bonnie, one of our other grandkids. Matt got angry and said that Ruth was just a bastard and that his son deserved more than her.
Wow.
My husband got furious after that and left the room saying that he wouldn't include Matthew at all. Matt yelled back and turned to me saying that Ruth wasn't worth it because she'd just grow up to be a whore like her mother. I told him that I'd rather have her mother as my daughter than him as my son, and insisted that he leave. I'm getting phone calls from Matt's wife and family, friends, saying that my husband and I overreacted, and he was just angry that we were playing favorites. Am I the asshole?
He's just angry. You don't say shit like that.
He's so mad.
Oh my God. That's either some serious fucking anger issues
Yeah.
or this guy's just bad
Unhinged.
news.
Bad news bears. Left his wife, like, kind of high and dry, it sounds, because his parents took her in.
Cheated.
What?
Cheated.
Cheated. Yeah, he cheated on her and he's calling her a whore. You cheated. You cheated. And then to call the daughter a bastard, which, one, I fucking hate that word. I hate that word so much because that is something that people used to say to me and my brother, siblings. I don't think Taylor ever really got it. But me and Matt, my older brother, used to get that all the time. That's terrible to say to someone.
I just think it's crazy that that's even still a word.
When you grow up in a small town in Minnesota, like northern Minnesota, where everyone's parents are married.
Well, I can see that. But
I was the oddball. Like, trying to explain my family tree on this podcast is like a.
But why does that shit still matter? Why does that matter?
But people judge you. People judged my mom so hard.
But that's old thinking. Look at the world now.
Yes, and I'm glad we're getting there, but that's not like the case for a lot of people, especially if they come from traditional backgrounds.
Well, it's just
the minute I used to tell people, like, people would be like, wait, so you have 2 other brothers, but none of you have the same dad?
Yeah, but
and
it's
people
just
would literally like look at me weird, and their parents got weird.
It's just these older generations infecting the newer generations with their outdated and very just unhinged thinking.
Yeah, well,
like, that's some Game of Thrones shit.
It's that mentality that, like,
it's just so stupid.
It's dumb.
I don't know why, if there's a human walking this earth, how they're different from anyone else. We all got here the same fucking way. It doesn't matter if 2 people are married or 2 people didn't know each other, had a one-night stand, and here you are.
Yeah. You're a present.
What? No, but seriously, what difference? Tough. I get back in when the society had the ranks and it's like you were favored or whatever the fucking terms were.
Yeah.
I get how that can be built into a society and infect everyone's mind. Sure.
Yeah.
But now, any 2 different people walking this earth, what makes them different? Nothing. 2 souls wandering this planet.
Yeah.
Why does it fucking matter where you came from?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Ugh.
Also, I'm just like, it's so annoying he's even using that as an argument because you were married to her. Your daughter wasn't born out of wedlock. Therefore, Your argument is invalid.
No, is it the grandfather?
That he's got lung cancer.
But he's the one who said, "Yep, you're out."
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. What do
Yeah.
you mean? You think you're gonna argue your way into it with that?
Well, also the fact that he said,
He doesn't even visit much. He just
no,
came around when it was his time to say, "Oh, you got cancer. Ha.
let me.
What's the will looking like?"
Yep. This OP literally writes Matt rarely ever visited and didn't answer our calls, often saying that we had other kids. So it wasn't like my husband was dying lonely.
I can't believe people like this actually exist. This is like when a villain in a movie,
Yeah.
and yeah, someone wrote it to be like that dramatic, but there's
Yeah.
actually people like that.
1000%.
Well,
People,
I know, but I'm just saying
yeah.
I can't believe that there are.
No, it's wild.
It just doesn't compute.
One of the top comments is make sure to leave him and his son $1 each so they can't contest the will by saying you forgot about them. And
Mm,
that is something we've talked about on the wills money, is it the money episode? But if you're like trying to cut someone out, you do have to leave them something. And I'd honestly make it more than a dollar. Like I'd put $100 just so it's like, or like even five. So it's like the judge, if it was ever contested, the judge can be like, no, they purposely did this to you
right.
because yeah, he deserves nothing. And amazing, like absolutely amazing that his parents are the saints they are. Like they took in his ex-wife, his daughter that he disowned. Fucking monster. Like
That's probably where his distance grew with that. It probably grew over the course of all these things because he didn't care from the beginning.
no, he didn't care about his kid.
No.
Not at all.
Wow.
He's a monster. He's in it for the money. I love the fact that his new wife was calling his parents too. Like, bitch, what do you think you're gonna
And
get?
what's wrong with her? How does she not see this guy?
Because some people don't care. Like, if this were me and I knew my husband had another kid that he had just abandoned, I wouldn't be with him. That
Right.
is
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
she's got a bolt loose. Ugh.